Alright, hopefully this works this time. This is an inscription modding tutorial for JSON Loader. These are all the mods you need. All the sigils is optional, deck editor is also optional, and custom currency is also optional. And I would recommend using Thunderstore or R2 Modman to download the mods. And if you want to help follow the tutorial, you can grab Adam. And this is the generator we're going to be using for the first section of the video. And now I've got to reset this whole thing, because the dumb thing didn't work the first time. Alright, no, we don't want to close that. But, well, you already saw it anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. And I forgot to mention this, but if you wanted to pause, you can. This will basically be the name of your sigil. I mean, your card. For now, we're going to leave it as test. And symbols like minus, equals, and stuff will not work here, because this is your code name. If you want a space, you use underscore. And then this will be basically your mod's ID. For now, we're going to do test underscore mod. Or just test mod. That works too. This will basically be what your display name will be. For now, we're going to use goldfish, because why not? This will be the description of your card. So for now, we can just do the angler pulled up some goldfish. This will sort your cards into separate sections. For a common act 1, you want choice node and trader offer. For a GBC card, you want these. And then this one is for rares of any kind. Currently, there's a bug with the rare that forces it to be in every act. And this is basically part 3 is random, which means they're choice nodes and stuff. For now, we're going to have this be a rare. This is how complex you want your card to be. Simple is the easiest, intermediate's the mid, and advanced the high. And this is the vanilla's ranking. For now, we're going to leave it as vanilla. Temple is basically which scribe the card belongs to, or which act it belongs to. Nature is Leshy / Act 1. Undead is Credit / Act / Grimora. Tech is Act 3 / PO3. Wizard is Credit / Act, / Magnificus. For now, we're going to leave this as a nature. This is how much attack it'll have. For now, we'll do something like 4. And then base health can be, for now, 3. This will allow you to choose whether the health and attack are hidden. Useful for terrain cards and stuff. For now, we're going to leave this disabled. We can just do false, or we can just uncheck the box. And then blood cost is currently capped at 4, because we don't have blood tokens in the API. For now, we're going to set this as a 3-blooder. Bone cost is unlimited. For now, we can have this be cost of 7 bones. Energy cost is capped at 6. For now, we can do 2 energy. Special stat icons are things like the bell icon, the mirror icon, the ants attack, the bones, which is the Lammergier's attack, the green gems, which is the amount of green gems you have, and then there's also sacrifices this turn, which is this stat icon on Red Heart. For now, we're gonna leave this off. Tribes, there is 6 of them, surprisingly. Squirrel does not have a texture, that's why it doesn't get shown in game. But by default, it's on the squirrel card. Bird is all of your avian cards, / your birds, as in the raven, the hawk, the fucking kingfisher, and so on. Canine is like the wolf, the coyote, the alpha, the wolf cub, the dire wolf. Hooved is like your deer cards / your goat cards. Reptile is like your snakes, your turtles, etc. Insects are basically the insect tribe. And you can also have mod added ones like from Tribe Library or Nevernamed Sigillarium, or the Vermin Tribe or PBZ. For now, we're gonna have this be set to a none. And there is a fish tribe in the Tribe Library, if you want to try that out for yourself. Traits are basically what type of card this is marked as. This means can't show up on death card creation. This means it acts like the goat with the Bone Lord. This means it acts like the survivors from the campfire. Well, kills the survivors from the campfire. This will satisfy the ring trial. This acts like a pelt. This means that it's a terrain. This means it's marked as an ant or something. And the rest I am unsure of. For now, we're gonna mark this as a death card not option. Special abilities is basically the abilities that are not able to be seen. You can have mod added ones as well on this. For now, we're gonna go with the fucking Douse. Well, actually, a more noticeable one would be the fucking Ouroboros. Shapeshifter, I think, is used for the EG rack, but don't quote me on that. Abilities is like the sigils you have in your card. You can have multiple, along with multiple of the tribe special abilities, traits. You cannot have multiple of special stat icons. And then this is for mocked cards. This is the evolve into codename, which can be found in your card names.txt. Oh, that's what the snug was. For now, we're gonna go with a Squid Bell. This will be the turn it takes to evolve into that card. For now, we're just gonna use 2. This is its default name, which means you can have something like card name, the stack that smiles back or something. And this is basically the name of your tail. It only supports 1 word at the minute. I don't know how to fix it, / how to get it to work with JSON Loader. This means the portrait it gets when the tail is lost from the original portrait, which I believe means you need an alternate portrait or something. I am unsure though. For now, we're gonna set this as fish tail underscore t .png, and then this can be the fish one. Ice cube name means the name the card it turns into when it gets killed with the ice cube sigil. And this can also be used when evolve is not present as well. This we're going to disable because evolution is there. I'm going to put this here. This means it will flip when strafe is there. It's enabled by default, I believe. This means you're limited to 1 per deck. It's disabled by default. And then height attack and health is also disabled by default. And then for the appearance behaviors, this is like the base game's behaviors for the appearances of the card. This means it'll act like the static glitchy card. This should mean it's the full card portrait on the whole card, but do not quote me on that. This means it has the terrain background. This means it has the Act 3 rare effect. This means it's the long elk decal. This means it has an animated portrait, I believe, but I am unsure. This means its card back is golden. This means its card back is the rare from Act 1. This means it has some sort of blood decal, but I'm unsure on that one. This means it acts like a terrain from Act 3, but don't quote me on that. This should mean it has a dynamic portrait, but don't quote me on that one either, nor the giant animated one, but that should be like the moon in limoncello portrait. Holograph is the Act 3 portrait card type or something. I'm unsure. This will basically be like, will this card look like the goat with a goat eye or something? For now, we're gonna use the golden emission. Texture can be goldfish.png. Emission texture can be goldfish underscore e. And that acts like a layer above the card. Well, the portrait. And I like to have the first letter of the texture as the part that's after the underscore. Alt texture will basically means it has an alternate texture used by special abilities. This means it'll have an alternate texture when it's sacrificed. But these are both going to be disabled for now because we're not going to test this in Act 1. At least I'm not. Pixel texture means it's texture from Act 2 or the starter decks, which we can label this as goldfish underscore p. Title graphic is its graphic it has when it basically goes over the title and puts that graphic there instead of having a displayed name. Decals means it has a special decal type. You go reopen the image with it. Right click, open with Paint 3D. So the decals are 125 by 190. And these do work with transparency, same with the normal ones. And if you're curious as to why these have colored portraits, that would be because of Silence Man's mod called act1_colored_portraits. Or you can use colored portraits by special API. We are currently not going to, but that is a decision that's up to you. And then this is like its extension properties. Like how the custom currency mod has extension properties for these. I believe some of the sigils from all the sigils do too. But once again, don't call me on that. For now, we're gonna use skulls cost and have that set to 4. And another quick note, you don't want to leave a comma trailing behind, because that will cause errors. So now it shows up like this, and then we can go do Control A, C. And then here's where the atom part comes in. So we want to do new file, and then we want to rename it when we save it, and then have it saved to our folder. So here we'll go find where our plugins folder is. For me, it's in test BepInEx plugins, and then inside test mod. And then here you want to label it as its actual name, which will be goldfish.jldr2. This is important because this is how it registers the card. And then once you hit save, that'll basically have the card now be in that folder. Which, ta-da, it does. And then there's a few good apps for card art, like Krita Paint 3D. Is not the best because it doesn't allow transparency, and then there's also pixel art. That one doesn't allow transparency either, as far as I'm aware, anyhow. And then once you're at pixelart.com, you want to press Start Drawing, or if you're at Krita, you want to press New File, and make sure that file is either 114 by 94 or 41 by 28 or the decal size, which I once again have forgot. That this is the Act 1 card art size. And since I'm currently not using the colored portraits, we're just going to be using black. And also, you want to set pixel size to 2 for Act 1 cards and pixel size to 1 for Act 2 cards. And then, basically from there you go. And don't blame me for my art skill. Please. You can do whatever image you want for this. However, this one is mine. I'm not that great of an artist, as you can probably tell from the modding Discord. And then we can download this. And then you want to make sure you do download.png and not save as pixel. You just want to do download.png or .gif if you have animated ones. And there's also a new sprite sheet API if you want animated ones. In a future video I will cover that. But for now, we're just sticking to these. And if you want a mod added thing, you just do it as a mod GUID dot the sigil name or whatever. And a useful thing will be to pin this to your quick access. And then here we can rename this to goldfish.png or something. But since our normal texture is goldfish.png, we will save it as that. And then you want to put this into wherever your card is. And then we will also have it where we have an emission, which will be on a separate layer. And by default, they're only gonna be blue, I think anyhow. Don't quote me on that. Don't know why the paint bucket was on. But by default, Inscription does the eye of a portrait. And make sure you use a separate layer so you can disable the other layer. Shouldn't have covered that one pixel there. I forgot which one it was. Go to this one, and then it'll be that one there. And then your emissions will usually end up looking like this. And then you want to go and download it. But make sure you save it as a different name, so you won't have the annoying copy or whatever it does. For emissions, I'm using _e, so it's going to be saved as that. And then you also put that into the folder. And then you want to make a file that is a 41 by 28 if you're doing Act 2. Which is with a 1 pixel size. Which for this one, we're gonna do this. And note that the Act 2 cards cannot have emissions or anything special with them, as far as I'm aware. And also, Act 2 cannot have colored things either. At least I think it might allow, but I'm honestly unsure about that. And then you want to save it as whatever your file name is once again. and then put it into your test mod. And then you hit start modded. And if there's any errors with your card, it will show up in the FX log. For me, I've just got to make sure it actually launches. Also, if you want to use File Explorer for making the stuff, I'd recommend using right-click Create New. And hopefully, none of the background is picking up. If it is, oh well, and sorry for the screaming. It sometimes can take a little bit to load. And as you can see, there was an error because we had a tail. But you can easily just disable it through here, or you can go to the actual card file, which is honestly easier than replacing the whole thing again. And you can just disable it. And it'll just have the default tail portrait. And then after you fix that error, it'll load. I see, my background is picking up. Well, I can't do shit about that. And then if anything else pops up, you can just easily fix that by checking for what it says. And another useful thing you can do when something errors is going to the debugging tab of your mod manager and pressing copy log file contents to clipboard. And then if you need to send it to the modded tech support or just paste it into a Word document or just a blank .text document, and it'll just go there. And you can look at it that way. Or another option is just go over to this and then open that. And by the looks of things, our little card worked. Sometimes it has after math to load before it can open the thing straight away. And then usually you want to do a new run in case you forgot you deleted the card. And you can also add starter decks, but I'm going to go over that in a future video. And the reason why Deck Editor was on the list is so we can instantly get it instead of having to go through all of the card things and hope for it. To enable, you just click this and then type in the name of your card. Oh yeah, this goes by the code name, so it will be testmod_test if you left it like that. And then this will be your example card that I have made. It costs 2 energy, it needs 7 bones, it needs 3 blood, and needs at least 20 challenge points to be played. I believe might be a bit different. And then it is useful to go to your battle and do it from there. And I'm just gonna give myself a few smokes so we can easily get through the bone thing. Smoke_improved is the one that gives bones, by the way. Also, you won't always be able to test your card out, but by the fact that it's in the game, it should work unless there's a custom sigil. Now, if you were only here for that segment, you can leave now. Otherwise, we're gonna make another card. This one's gonna be called horse.png. I mean, .jldr2. And this is for just straight up this part. And then a good guideline for you is over in the MatH95, and then there is a example card of everything. Should be here somewhere. It's called alloptions_example.jld2. And then you can either just copy paste this or just take guidelines from it. So this card's gonna be called horse, which is this, and then we want to make sure to put a comma there. Quote mod name prefix. That's it. And usually when you have it open in another tab, it'll allow you to test easily. Leave. And usually you want to make sure you have it as the same thing with your mod prefix if you want a card back with it, which I will also go over in another video. Horse. And make sure your quotes are also finished. Because sometimes Adam doesn't always go full out with it. this time we're gonna use rare. Nope, I did. Alright, this one's choice none of the trader offer them. You can find all of them on the generator if you really need to. Which is kind of me right now. And then you can just copy them off of here. Even if it leads to one of these, you still need to put a comma. And by default, the tempo will be nature, and by default, the card complexity will be vanilla. Base attack will be set to 2. And for the integer ones, you don't need the quotes. But you will always need the colons. And then we can do this one for a blood cost of 2. And then enums.md will have everything you need for the base stuff, which is this file here, or you can go to the one linked in the JSON Loader pins in the modding server. Dot colon quote. And then for this one, we're gonna use one of the ones from all the sigils, so you don't have it installed for nothing. Is on hit can be this one, and then comma, and then you want to go find the readme or whatever your abilities are stored in for the modded ones. For all the sigils, it's within the readme. And then you can just have it be set to something like void dot. Wait, why? It seems to. Guess they put their good one on top for some reason. And if you miss the character, just add it afterward. And then you put a dot in between it. And then whatever the sigil's called. For the one we're gonna use, it's called Coin Finder. And then for the texture, we'll use the one called, well, technically it's your own file, but I'm gonna call this horse.png, comma, emission texture, called horse_. Also, I'm not gonna go over everything in this version. That's for the generator, because everything's already there. And and then pixel portrait is gonna be set as horse_p. And just a note that the file type is a requirement. And then your last line of the code you want to leave without a comma. And I just realized the mistake I did, which was leave this in the actual thing. And you don't want to comma inside these on the last one either. And then you need to go make your files. And for Act 2 is 41 by 28. And don't accuse me for my art. I am not the best artist in the world. And then if you want the color to portraits once again, just download the mod called Color to Portraits. And then this is for animated portraits, which we'll go over in another video. You can either do this one, which is as a appearance behavior, or you can do this one. And Act 2 and Act 3, I believe, already support color portraits. And also, all of these support the fucking transparency. And then once again, you want to make sure these are all in the right folder and have the right name. And then for Act 1, it's 114 by 94. And decals were mentioned earlier, so you can find the size for those there. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Pixel size for Act 1 is 2. And once again, do not blame me for my art, please. Because I have enough of that already. And Act 1, where if you have it all colored, it will just be set to black by default. And I'm just gonna go change up that eye so we can have an emission. And then you want to make sure to rename it to what your card's called. And then you want to add a layer for your emission. And then you disable your old layer. And do it that way for your emission. And also, just a note, you want to make sure your background is actually transparent. especially for the emissions. And then you want to copy that over to your mod folder. For me, it's test mod. And I would recommend pinning that mod folder. And then once that's done, you just hit start modded. And these will all be sorted into sections. And if there's any errors, it will say it in red. And deck editor works with the name of the thing. With the code names for deck editor. And then the custom cost mod was used earlier in the generator section. And it looks like we had an error with stuffing outside of an array. Which we can check just by going in there and checking on the example. Or another thing you can do is make sure it actually saved. Because if you remember to save it, it wouldn't have popped up. And I myself, half the time, always forget to save it. And this time we have an empty name. Which can usually be because you forgot a comma somewhere. But here it looks like we didn't forget a single comma. I remember getting these before, but I do not remember what fixed it. Oh yeah, I remember now. It was because we had a symbol that shouldn't have been there. Well, I did. But I honestly don't remember what it was that fixed it. So I'm just gonna go real quickly ask in the modding server. Actually, first we can go see if there was a similar error before. Empty name. Here's where it is. And then just make sure to save that and then restart the game again. Sorry that took me so long to figure out. That was probably obvious. And then once that's done, it should appear in game. Hopefully. Delete. And then hopefully when it loads, it'll be fixed. And don't worry about this unless it's an API thing that it mentions. Alright, it worked this time. Good. And then once it's done loading, you can see if it loaded with Deck Editor, or you can try and find it yourself. Which can take a while. this is how I'm gonna test it. And yep, the horse has loaded. This is how the horse looks in game. And this is how the other card looks in game, which I made earlier. But basically, that is how you make a JSON card.